Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following: IU Health Southern Indiana physicians, primary care and specialty care providers now accepting new patients in Bloomington and throughout South Central Indiana. siphysicians.org. IU Center for Applied Cybersecurity Research, working to improve cybersecurity and provide policy guidance through partnerships with industry, government, and academia. Main Source Bank, headquartered in Greensburg, Indiana, offering products and services to fit every stage of life. More information at mainsourcebank.com. Main Source, life needs a great bank. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com.
And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. The 2017 legislative session is underway and lawmakers have a busy budget year ahead. We'll speak with Statehouse reporter Brandon Smith about what we can expect to see debated and how a new governor could affect the session. And we look at the state of downtowns throughout Indiana, starting in Loogootee, where a fire reduced several businesses to rubble around 2 years ago.
It was very devastating, but there was tremendous community support.
And young farmers are facing tough challenges.
We were signing papers, almost $250,000, and they had to be paid back by the end of the year.
We'll tell you why some farmers find the difficult lifestyle is worth the work and why some young professionals are finding other jobs in agriculture. And dashing through the snow, it's over the hill we go on a toboggan ride that is having a record-breaking year. Those stories plus the latest news headlines from across the state right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. The 2017 legislative session of the Indiana General Assembly is underway. Yesterday, Governor-elect Eric Holcomb announced his legislative priorities for the year. They include focusing on the economy, the opioid epidemic, government service, and infrastructure.
I said during the campaign, I still mean it, that all things are on the table. All sources of revenue are on the table. The only thing that's off the table in our mind is a none of the above approach. We have to address this, and we will, and we'll seek to work toward that consensus as the plans materialize in the House and the Senate.
From the other side of the aisle, House Minority Leader Scott Pilots says Holcomb's agenda includes more spending and tax increases than he expected from a Republican. And Pilots says the governor-elect's job is now to make the case for those fuel tax hikes. For more context and a preview of what we can expect to hear coming from the Statehouse this session, Brandon Smith joins us from Indianapolis. Brandon, some of the questions legislators are looking at this year aren't new. Infrastructure is a priority again this year with the House GOP rolling out their plan on Wednesday. What is changing in the way lawmakers are addressing the state's aging roads?
Well, it's really about the depth and breadth of their plan. In the last few years, the infrastructure measures we've seen have mostly been short-term, so covering a year, maybe a budget cycle or two. What lawmakers are hoping to achieve this session is a plan that will cover the next 20 years. The biggest part of that is finding a relatively sustainable funding source. In those short-term measures of the last few years, that money's come from existing funds, maybe special one-time funds. What they're looking for in this year's plan will likely be gas tax increases, new vehicle registration fees, and possibly even tolling in Indiana's interstate highways.
Democrats said civil rights protections for gender identity and sexual orientation is a priority item again this year. Do you expect any kind of protective legislation to gain traction?
I don't. Governor-elect Eric Holcomb made it clear on the campaign trail he doesn't see a path forward for that sort of legislation in the legislature, and certainly Republicans in the General Assembly aren't eager to embrace it.
We're only a few days into the session and we've seen a lot of groups announcing their legislative priorities. Outside of infrastructure, what other areas will be prioritized this session?
Well, as I said, legislative leaders from both parties agree that addressing Indiana's drug epidemic is a top priority. What will be interesting to watch is how they go about that, and perhaps more importantly, whether they put any money behind those efforts.
You know, we mentioned earlier in the show that he announced his priorities yesterday. What differences did you see from Governor-elect Holcomb's priorities from what we saw from Governor Pence's last legislative session?
Well, in many ways, they're the same big themes, but that's mostly because it's the same big themes we see from Republicans and in many cases Democrats in the legislature. So long-term road funding plan, pre-K education expansion, addressing Indiana's drug epidemic, and training a skilled workforce. Now, perhaps the most eye-catching part of Eric Holcomb's agenda was that he wants to make the state superintendent of public instruction an appointed rather than elected position. Now, that is an issue that people from both parties have been tossing around for decades.
Brandon, is there anything else that we need to be watching for this session?
Well, as I said, legislative leaders from both parties agree that addressing Indiana's drug epidemic is a top priority. What will be interesting to watch is how they go about that, and perhaps more importantly, whether they put any money behind those efforts.
All righty, thank you very much, Brandon. Now, for headlines, we go over to Barbara Brozier, who has the latest on this week's top stories.
Thanks, Joe. President-elect Donald Trump will appoint former Indiana Senator Dan Coats as Director of National Intelligence. The pick could be announced later this week, according to a person briefed on the decision. The person was not authorized to speak publicly about the matter and spoke on the condition of anonymity. Coats spent more than 2 decades in Congress. He announced last year he wouldn't seek re-election. South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg will run for Democratic National Committee chair. He made the announcement yesterday in a video.
This is personal for me. I didn't just see Afghanistan on the news. I lived it, driving and guarding vehicles outside the wire. I could be ordered back to war by a reckless president.
Buttigieg enters a crowded field of candidates for DNC chair. U.S. Secretary of Labor Tom Perez and Representative Keith Ellison of Minnesota are among those vying for the position. Buttigieg's current term as mayor of South Bend expires in 2020. The DNC will elect new leadership in February. U.S. Senator Joe Donnelly is a recipient of the Department of Defense Medal for Distinguished Public Service. It's the highest award a private citizen or politician can receive from the department. The award honors Donnelly for his dedication to ensuring service members have the resources and preparation needed to complete their missions. The state's largest teachers union laid out its legislative priorities this week. One of the group's goals is to train teachers to deal with student trauma because 1 in 4 children in the United States deals with some sort of trauma at home.
So I think we have a lot of kids coming to school having experienced different kinds of trauma, and we need to be making sure our educators are well trained and prepared to work with those students in order to get them to the best place.
ISTA suggests the legislature create a grant program managed by the Department of Education to train teachers. The union also wants legislators to make school funding more equitable, expand state-funded preschool, and pull student test scores out of teacher evaluations. More than 8,000 people experience homelessness in Indianapolis each year. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett announced the city will receive $5 million from the federal government to help. The incoming money comes from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. HUD believes housing is the crucial first step for a homeless person to become self-sufficient.
If you don't have housing, that basic need, you can't focus on other issues. You can't focus on a job. You can't focus on your addiction. You can't focus on your mental health issue. You can't focus on all those other things.
The city's request for similar funds was rejected in 2015, which he says this year's successful bid is the result of a closer adherence to HUD's requirements and the leadership of Mayor Joe Hogsett. Engine manufacturer Cummins expanded its operations in Indianapolis this week. The company unveiled its new 9-story office downtown near City Market. The building houses more than 400 employees.
I've often said during this year of service that every day's a good day. Some are just better than others. And today is a great day for the city of Indianapolis.
The downtown location allows Cummins easy access to its distributors because of its proximity to the interstate and airport. The Department of Natural Resources says 2016 marked the deadliest year on record in Indiana for all-terrain vehicles, or ATVs. 21 people died in ATV accidents in 2016. That's up from 16 people in 2015. Officials say the agency is ramping up safety efforts and making ATV safety one of its top 4 priorities for 2017.
We're doing everything we can. I think the knowledge is already there. Then people need to grasp onto it and start making sure that they're talking to the children at home. We're getting the message out the best we can.
Brown says the number of young people getting hurt on ATVs concerns him, especially because most of these accidents are preventable. He suggests riders always wear a helmet and ride a proper-sized ATV and always supervise children. He hopes the increased safety efforts will make a difference. FBI agents seized more than a dozen boxes of documents from Muncie City Hall during a 3-hour search yesterday morning at the city building commissioner's office. The search comes nearly 9 months after Muncie Mayor Dennis Tyler confirmed the FBI was investigating the city government for possible wrongdoing. The Muncie Star-Press reports FBI agents also searched the building commissioner's home. No arrests or charges have been announced stemming from the investigation. A former Vigo County School Corporation employee accused in an overbilling kickback scheme is expected to get his sheriff's department pension. Frank Shahady has pleaded not guilty to the accusations. Vigo County Sheriff Greg Ewing told the Terre Haute Star Tribune that paperwork has been filed for Shahady's pension, and the former deputy is entitled to that pension even if he is convicted of federal charges. A northern Indiana RV maker will add more than 400 new jobs in LaGrange County in the next 2 years as the region's mainstay industry continues to rebound. Forest River employs 11,000 Hoosiers in Elkhart and LaGrange counties. It's receiving tax incentives from the town and state to do so. Of all RVs sold worldwide, more than 80% are made in northern Indiana. But the industry is still recovering from a major slump in the recession. In 2016, it lost factories, cut some jobs, and struggled to fill others. Former students of ITT Educational Services Incorporated are asking to be considered creditors in the for-profit college operator's bankruptcy case. The filing argues that former students' debt qualifies them as creditors. The Carmel, Indiana-based company filed for bankruptcy last year and shut 130 campuses nationwide amid a federal crackdown on the industry. The closure displaced more than 35,000 students and more than 8,000 employees. ITT has blamed government regulation. And Joe, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, to see if it sets a future precedent.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Barbara. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. We'll visit 2 young farmers that tell us about the surprising challenges they face. And more than 2 years after a fire destroyed nearly an entire block in one small town, we check in to see what could arise from the ashes. Those stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
Nature takes you places where you've never gone before.
It's watching something that's actually happened.
Nature sure drew me in the story.
Just their power and their grace.
You know, it was just so beautiful to watch them.
The movement and just watching the body and watching the chase.
Like this huge, lush, vibrant watercolor.
James.
There was such a shot of underneath watching these elephants swim in this deep water.
I had no idea even they could swim like that.
I saw that one monkey pulling on this one monkey's tail, and the monkey like, man, what you doing? What you doing?
It's like the theater of the wild or something.
7 billion trillion animals living on one planet.
It's like more colorful than than you think life can possibly be.
Somewhere between the mystique and the beauty of it is reason enough to sit down and watch.
That's life. And that's nature.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. In Indiana, the average farmer is 58 years old, but more young people are making their way into the industry. As Sophia Salaby reports, unpredictable weather, changing crop prices, and large debts can challenge younger farmers to stay in business.
You can find Jeff Bailey working on his farm in Bloomington at 4 in the morning most days of the week. He's out in the cold morning weather preparing his farm for the winter. But if you think waking up early to stand in the cold is the hardest part of being a farmer, you'd be wrong.
At one point, I know when we were in big crop production that we were into, we were signing papers almost $250,000, and they had to be paid back by the end of the year. So, you're taking your house and basically every piece of equipment you have and putting it on the line that you're going to make it by the end of the year and make that debt right.
Jeff Bailey calls himself a part-time farmer. He grows corn and soybeans with help from his wife and 3 kids. Bailey's favorite part of his farm is his pigs. He puts each pig's name on a blackboard in his barn.
Babe, Princess, Bubba, Hamilton.
He bought his small farm in 2003, but he also works as a full-time firefighter and part-time risk management first responder with Indiana University Recreational Sports, just to support his family.
It's a gamble. I mean, to convince somebody of a young age to be willing to take the debt versus income and work at it, because there's a lot of countless late hours, sleepless hours you got to be willing to put in. If you're not positive, agriculture won't work for you. You have to stay positive. You get knocked down, you wipe it off, you get back up and you smile.
Professor of Agricultural Economics at Purdue University, Chris Hertz, says Indiana needs more people like Bailey. Young people who work in agriculture are increasingly difficult to find due to hard times in recent years. Hertz says this isn't just farm owners that are low in numbers, but the entire agricultural industry is facing a problem.
We do need this constant supply of young people coming into ag production, and Purdue's contribution clearly is training people to service the farms, to go into the agribusinesses and other service agencies, the fertilizer, the chemical industry, the seed industry, the marketing side of the products. So there's strong demand for all of those job opportunities. Somewhat smaller number going back to the farms.
Prior to 2014, the agricultural economy was in a boom period, which was attractive to younger people looking to get into farming. But we've hit a period of moderation in the past 2 years, meaning these new farmers might become discouraged because of the financial stress they face. Doug Murray considers himself to be one of the lucky ones. He's 27, a young farmer like Bailey. He's part of that small minority that has gone back to the farm, like the generation before him. The friends he grew up with don't have that.
Not too many were fortunate enough to be able to come back to the farm, so a lot of my friends that I grew up with, baled hay with, and worked with, they're off other places doing other things, so.
He grew up on his family's farm in Pennville, a rural community north of Muncie. After graduating college, he was able to come back to work with his parents. But it can be hard to guarantee the future of a farm these days.
On average, we've seen losses for many farms in the last 2 years especially.
Last year, parts of northern Indiana experienced unexpected rains during the spring and summer. It hurt the farmers' bottom lines.
It can change while you're at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're in bed at night. You wake up in the morning and you went from, going in the black to now you're running in the red.
But for Bailey, despite the overwhelming uncertainty and hardship he might face as a young farmer, he still knows the economy needs people like him in agriculture to take those risks and provide for the community. We're standing in Bailey's greenhouse. He built it this summer, and in the spring he'll grow vegetables like sweet corn, green beans, and tomatoes. It's part of a new strategy he's using. He got the idea from someone in the community, and he says it's an important component to a farmer's success.
Plus, we give a lot of our veggies off to elderlies around us because they don't maybe have the income to go out or enjoy the fresh food, but we want to share with our elders because they're the ones that's made this possible for us.
Bailey and Murray were both introduced to farming by their families, and they both credit them with their success. And if future generations choose to take the risk and become farmers, that's most likely going to happen through family as well, like Bailey's 4-year-old son.
As long as he's showing the passion and wanting to be out here and involved in the farm, we're going to make sure he's out here and involved.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Sophia Salaby.
Throughout January, we'll be taking a look at downtown areas throughout Indiana. Often a place of commerce and community interaction, downtown areas can help create a sense of identity to a community. We are starting the series in Loogootee. Just more than 2 years ago, a fire devastated the small town of Loogootee. It ripped through 6 businesses, reducing many to rubble. Much of that land remains empty. Locals hope that will change soon, but as Barbara Brosier reports, finding a business to buy into the idea is proving challenging.
Just about everyone in Loogootee remembers where they were on this day.
We were preparing for a Christmas open house, and I was making Christmas arrangements in the back of Lori's Flowers.
In November 2014, a fire broke out at Rosie's t-shirt shop and quickly spread.
Someone came in and said there was a fire, and very suddenly smoke started pouring in the building.
It was the talk of the town, and Mayor Noel Hardy says it even made national news.
This was in the Wall Street Journal.
But today, this block tells a different story.
Thankfully, almost everybody that is still in business today and have been able to relocate.
Only 2 of the businesses that were damaged that day decided not to reopen. The rest are still here in Loogootee, just in slightly different locations. Rosie's moved to a building next door.
Business is good.
And what used to be Lori's Flowers has a new name and a new location.
The shop has come back tremendously.
The community played a large role in helping businesses like this get back on their feet quickly after the fire. But more than 2 years later, several empty lots remain in Loogootee's downtown. And there are no concrete plans for what to do with the land.
You know, I think that there's loads of possibilities.
Loogootee's downtown isn't exactly bustling. The small town has just over 2,000 residents. But these lots sit on a prime location. A busy stretch of 231 passes right in front. And locals hope an entrepreneur or developer will see that as an opportunity. They have plenty of ideas for what they'd like to see pop up here.
Eating establishments or coffee shop, ice cream shop type thing.
We'd like to see some businesses come back into the downtown area, and that would be great.
But the biggest obstacle is money. There are plenty of ideas out there, but building a shop from the ground up is expensive, and there's little assistance available. That's why most proposals haven't moved past the idea stage.
I just left a business just 5 or 10 minutes ago, and he kind of was shooting out an idea.
One company hoped to secure a grant to build storefronts and housing here, but that plan fell through. Hardy would like to help his city draft a comprehensive plan. He thinks it could help, but the problem is that costs money too.
The amount of financing that's out there right now, they only give so much to each community.
Redeveloping the land is further complicated by the fact that it's not all owned by the same person. The city owns one lot and the rest are the property of various business owners. So for now, this portion of the block will remain empty, a symbol of a town that survived a devastating fire but hasn't fully recovered. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Barbara Brosier.
The toboggan run at Pokagon State Park is attracting more Hoosiers this season than ever before. As Becca Costello reports, about 90,000 Hoosiers speed down the track each year.
Visitors wait for hours for their turn on the track for the 30-second thrill ride. A 90-foot vertical drop shoots each toboggan down a quarter-mile ice track. The fastest recorded speed is 42 miles per hour. The track first opened to the public in 1938 when boys from the Civilian Conservation Corps chopped ice from nearby Lake James and packed it into the wooden track.
Been many changes to that first toboggan run to what you see today behind me.
The original tower expanded from 20 feet to 30. Today, it stands at 90 feet tall. The attraction gained popularity when the park installed a refrigeration system in the 1970s. Instead of closing down when the temperature climbs above freezing, the run can stay open all winter.
No matter the weather, no snow, no problem. We hope that in the future, maybe we'll have some sort of a system where the toboggan can be enjoyed in the summertime.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Becca Costello.
The toboggan run is open every weekend through the end of February. And Kokomo's historic downtown train depot is refurbished and ready for business. Mayor Greg Goodnight says the $250,000 the city spent to purchase and renovate the depot not only spurs economic development, but maintains historic preservation.
You know, obviously we love new investment in our community, new buildings, but we also want to make sure we preserve the historic buildings when possible.
Goodnight says the depot is city-owned and managed. The upstairs public space may be rented through the City Parks Department. 2 private businesses now occupy the main level, including A. Michael's Restaurant and their newest tenant, Tin Man Brewing, the brewery's first location outside of Evansville. And that's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
No snow.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following: IU Health Southern Indiana physicians, primary care and specialty care providers now accepting new patients in Bloomington and throughout South Central Indiana. siphysicians.org. IU Center for Applied Cybersecurity Research, working to improve cybersecurity and provide policy guidance through partnerships with industry, government, and academia. Main Source Bank, headquartered in Greensburg, Indiana, offering products and services to fit every stage of life. More information at mainsourcebank.com. Main Source, life needs a great bank. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com.
And by WTIU members. Thank you.